Hey, everybody, it's time for another J-WAT podcast brought to you by Capri Sun. We're not bought. Ooh, I wish.
If we
I
were
say that
brought
every
to you
time.
by Capri Sun, this podcast would never start because we'd both still be jabbing at the goddamn pouch that we couldn't get the straw into.
I remember getting so frustrated that I would just stab it with like a fork or something and then just grab it by the pouch and squirt it as a little kid.
I'd prefer you didn't say you grabbed it by the pouch and squirted it.
Hey, then that's the name of my sex tape. So we're here today. It's been a minute. Thanks for Claire for being on the podcast. What a little bit ago. We have been busy, Tim.
Yes, we have been very
Very
busy.
busy. It's been really great last couple months and definitely last couple weeks. We're gonna get into all that. This episode, we're gonna really cover Panic Fest and we're gonna chat with all the fun shenanigans that we got up to there. So but
And of course, repping some Panic Fest swag
yes,
today, which
I
before we even get into it, all the festivals you and I have done over the years, some of probably the best merchandise ever.
100%. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and I have some of them that I definitely want to get through and we'll open cuz they're super cool. Yeah, but let's first talk about some movies, Tim. What are we got? Well, we have movies too that we saw at Panic Fest, but we'll save those for the Panic Fest portion. But Tim, what have you been seeing?
yeah. Well, so since we last chatted, I think what I had seen last from when we recorded with Claire was the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Mm,
I think was the last thing I had talked about. So I'll start off with the drama, the new Zendaya Robert Pattinson movie.
that has been getting some fascinating discourse
Yes,
on
it
the
has.
interwebs. And the ending was spoiled for me because I got so sucked into the drama, literally.
Yeah,
And then yeah, the director and their drama,
even
man,
with the ending
drama.
getting spoiled, I would still be like, go see it. It is a fun journey. Like, the
Interesting.
entire time because then, like, even on the drive home, Vanilla and I are both just, like, kinda talking about that scenario because 'cause we're like, we would never be in that kinda scenario, but it's such a fascinating look at it, and both their performances
Sure.
are beyond exceptional,
Yeah.
and, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really, really liked the drama.
Nice.
It was a good time. Literally the day we flew back in from Panic Fest, because I'm a sadist and had no sleep, I was like, I'm going to go to a movie like 2 hours after my flight lands. And I went and saw Forbidden Fruits. Very fun movie. It was a lot different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was like something hunting them in the mall and like a slasher thing. That was not it. I mean, it does take place in a mall and whatnot. I don't feel like I can say too much more without kind of spoiling it. It is very independent, starring Lily Reinhart, of course, from Riverdale.
Nice.
But yeah, it is. I really had fun with that movie. It was quite enjoyable. Of course, saw Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Mm,
I honestly, there are so many great horror elements of it. I know going into this, a lot of people were confused with the Mummy takeaway. So you and I are both huge fans of Lee, and Lee does what Lee does on this, and he does it exceptionally well.
yeah, I have heard it called Evil Dead Rise 2.
I called it Evil Dead Mummy when I left.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's one of those. I said the same thing with Joker 2, and people don't conflate it. If you hate a Joker 2, don't conflate that I'm saying The Mummy's like that. I think sometimes films get too wrapped into a very particular title or a very particular vehicle, where if they didn't have that, people would be raving about it. Whereas
I see.
Joker 2, I think the biggest problem with that movie is that it was a Joker movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You strip that away from it, you change the color palette and whatnot, you make it a little bit more artsy than what it was, and you make it just about two normal people going through that, it would change the dynamic of how people viewed it.
Sure,
I
sure.
think that it's the same with The Mummy, and I saw an interview with James Wan, Lee Cronin,
That was a good interview.
and, uh, and Jason Blum.
Jason.
I don't know if we're talking about the same interview because all these interviews have been great, but somebody mentioned, it was kind of a ballsy move for them to call it The Mummy when there was going to be all that confusion. And they quickly corrected and like, well, that's why we called it Lee Cronin's The Mummy. It's like
Mm,
that doesn't like, yeah, we know what Lee does
us
as
as
far as
filmmakers get it. but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if normal
the general
people.
audience doesn't.
But even then,
And
I remember people being like, "Oh yeah, the new Brendan Fraser movie's
yeah,
out," and I
and
was
they
like,
had to
"No,
put
no,
that
no, no,
on
no."
test screening invites in all caps, like,
Yeah,
"This is not the Brendan Fraser Mummy," and that was why the person had brought that up. They're like, "It's so synonymous now with Brendan Fraser
yeah,
that," but yeah, I honestly think that's the only thing that really trips it up, is that you're focused on this mummy aspect when there's such a fucking great possession part of it.
mhm,
Even the kind of weave storyline into, like, the Egyptian stuff is really cool.
yeah,
I think the mummy part of it is what the audience gets lost in.
sure, sure,
But
sure.
it is, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Tim, you say you don't talk bad about movies." I'm not talking bad on this.
No,
It
no, no.
it is an enjoyable, like, I had fun. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, once you really see Lee do what he does, like, I'm sure everybody I know at this point has heard about the toenail clippings. Like, it is, I mean, I like writing some fucked up stuff. The script I'm literally working on right now for us has a very fucked up scene.
Mhm,
And yeah, they do so many fun things with it. Did very well at the box office. I think 34 million is what it opened with. So I mean, audiences are having fun with it.
yeah,
And I would tell everybody, go see it, go support these horror films. I mean, especially when you've got Blumhouse, Atomic Monster, New Line Cinema, like, you've got a
Lee
lot of,
Cronin.
yeah, Lee Cronin. Like, it's a recipe, that is going to give you a fun time.
Yeah,
And so kind of take your brain away from expecting something hard and fast with a mummy, and you're going to enjoy it even more. Like, I
yeah,
think that was the one thing it kind of got lost in. But yeah, it is very, very fun. So yeah, definitely check that out. Uh, Also had finally watched Oddity. I think I'd kind of mentioned that because as we were at Panic Fest, I was hoping to watch Hokum there, and it's also directed by Damian McCarthy. And I had tickets to see Oddity like 2 years ago, and like the day of, I wasn't feeling great, and I was just like, I'm going to cancel, and never watched it. And finally had watched it again. Work has been a little slow. Had my headphones on, almost jumped through the ceiling like 3 different times. I'm not one that jumps super easy. Yeah, that there's a few misdirects that yeah, almost sent me right
I'll,
through the roof.
yeah,
But yeah, very, very good. I thoroughly enjoyed Oddity if you've not seen it yet. It's kind of a slow burn, but yeah, very, very fun. Tonight I'm going to see Lorne, the documentary about Lorne Michaels, of course, the creator of Saturday Night Live. Next week on my docket, I do have I Swear. I'm really looking forward to this. The lead actor is the one who won the BAFTA for lead actor and kind of shook up the whole Oscar race going into this year. It's about a guy with Tourette's, and it's something I've always found very fascinating. I've had people work for me that have had Tourette's, and until then, I think Tourette's is something we are all kind of ignorant about because we all think it's just one thing. It's the person that's always just muttering swears or things like that, and it manifests itself in so many different ways.
yeah. Chris has Tourette's.
Yeah, and I remember I think Chris had actually told me that because we were actually standing in line at Disneyland, and there was a guy behind us that, like, would just, like, yelp over and over, and, like, it was very obviously a tick from Tourette's. And I have found more people that I have known in my life that have had Tourette's that only once have I ever met anybody that actually, like, had the swearing Tourette's. And so it's very, very fascinating, to learn about something that has been so stigmatized by culture into what it is. And so I'm very intrigued to see this movie, especially because, I mean, kinda right off the bat, he's already kinda in the Oscar race, having won the BAFTA for this role. Of course, I will be going to see Hokum as well,
Great
next week.
reviews.
Trying to get to Faces of Death this week as well as Mother Mary, and then I could not have got my tickets fast enough for The Sheep Detectives.
Yeah, the
And
trailers look great.
you may think I am joking. Waddy will tell you,
No,
if there are talking animals in a movie, I am front and
and
center. I am
yeah,
ready. I am good to go. Waddy, what is my favorite attraction at Disneyland?
definitely Small World. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Which is the
I
Jungle
thought you
Cruise?
knew this right off the bat. It's the
Yeah,
Tiki
what is
Room.
it? Oh, duh, yes. Tiki
Yeah,
Room.
there was one time I was waiting for Watson and Chris to get to me at Disneyland, and you guys knew right where I was, just sitting in the tiki room with my Dole Whip. I was happy. I was having a
Enjoying
good
life.
time. The birds were singing words. The flowers were crooning. Yeah, I don't care what you think of me, people. I love the tiki room. But yeah,
Hell
the
yeah.
Sheep
I love
Detectives
it
I am
too.
super excited about. And then as soon as
Nice.
I have a free spot on my AMC A list, I'll be getting my Mando and Grogu tickets.
Saying. Yeah,
So
I mean, I'll
is it
be in
sad I'm most excited about Babu Frick in that?
no, he's great character. Yeah, we'll be in Idaho when that releases, so
Yes, we will.
I might have to sneak either before well, I'll be flying in before that. Yeah, I don't know, when I might have to see it in Utah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Utah or
my
Idaho,
plan
I
is
don't
to
know.
see it once I get back, unless there's an earlier screening before we leave.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for that. And then TV wise, I mean, Shrinking has ended this season. The Pit has ended this season. I'm going to make a little video for all the Pit fans because there's been the big talk about the post credit scene with the karaoke from season 2, and everybody's like, "Where was this? Where was this?" It is literally inside kind of a random practical set at Warner Brothers that nobody's been able to figure out. I remember the day that they were shooting it, and the section of the lot my wife works shares a wall with it. So for like 6 hours that day, she just continued to hear that Alanis Morissette song over and over and over and over again,
amazing.
and then just resetting, resetting. So
Nice.
it's like we knew exactly where it was. But it's kind of fun to be able to see when you see the shot of just how elaborate it is, and you see what the actual setup is. You would never guess that it's how they shot it. So if you're following me on socials, I will be posting that
Follow 'em.
later this week because it's kind of a fun thing to be able to see. But Hacks, the final season has returned, and off to a great start for the final season of Hacks. So yeah. But what about you, Waddy?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been, like, yeah, I've been real busy with Panic Fest, so we'll talk about the movies we saw there. And then I am watching no, this isn't, like, cinematically, but Love on the Spectrum, getting through the newest season, which just makes me cry constantly, uh,
I've heard
but
nothing but good about that show. As much as I don't like reality shows, I've heard nothing but good about that show.
yeah, the only other reality show I watch is, Storage Wars. And, and that's just because ever since I was a teenager, I just was sucked into that, but yeah, and, they do find a lot of, like, Hollywood stuff, which is
Yeah.
cool, and, because they film it pretty much around here, but, yeah, and then I do have tickets for Devil Wears Prada 2, um,
Even proddier.
yeah, it's funny because I cut a lot of trailers for, like, whatever it had to have been almost 10 years ago, so whatever the celebration of it was then, and I never saw it until then, and so but it is the first movie is a great movie, and so I'm
I
excited to
barely
see what
remember
happens.
the first movie. It was before I met my wife, and I went on a very weird double date to it. And it was
Funny.
the most uncomfortably weird double date I have ever been on. Like it was such a visceral I remember exactly what I was wearing. It was such a weird
Whoa.
date. Yeah, it's one of those that seared into my mind. And I only think of it anytime the Devil Wears Prada comes up because I'm like, I went and saw that movie on the weirdest fucking date I've
Weird
ever been
date.
on.
That's
And so I've
funny.
never watched it again, so I do not remember the movie
Ah,
at all. So
it's
I
great.
do need to rewatch it.
Yeah, incredible, again, I'm a sucker for movies with really good characters, and that movie does really good job at that. Sequel looks cool. I do think the criticisms are fair. I think every movie is so dark, like color-wise nowadays, and so, like, people are putting the movie from before and this one just looks like it's so dark and gritty even though it's a comedy, so I don't know, it's funny. And then, yeah, definitely excited
I'm
for
Meryl Streep.
Mando. I also have tickets already. As soon as they were released, I got them, for the Backrooms. I am a
Oh, those been
huge
released?
fan. They are
I did not know
released.
those were released.
Grab them, dude. Come see it with me. I I am a sucker for the Backrooms. I have followed the Backrooms for quite a while. And, it's pretty cool that this little guy, this little filmmaker, I mean, he's 20 now, but I think he started when he was 16.
Yeah,
Super cool that he's making this movie. And I
it
want to
looks
be
like such
clear.
a cool concept.
Yeah, and now a lot of people say he's the reason the Backrooms exist. That's not technically true. He was inspired from, creepy pastas and stories, but he's the one who really kind of like very clearly made this like cool world. So, and I love liminal spaces like video games, and I don't think there's enough movies about them. My next movie is very much, or I don't know if it's going to be my next movie, but the script that I'm currently polishing is very liminal spaces and inspired. It's actually funny. The trailer I used for my pitch deck, or sorry, for my sizzle reel for this newest movie, which I had done mid last year, so before the trailer was out, uses the same song that I
Really?
used. Yeah, it's funny that ended up happening, but yeah, I mean, again, it's supposed to feel the same, and I do think it's going to cause, if it does well, I think it's going to cause a big wave of liminal spaces movies. So, which I will be very happy about because I think it'll be cool. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for the movie. Like, the trailer is so unsettling. That's what I love about it,
mhm,
is it tells you nothing, and it is
yeah.
so goddamn unsettling. And I immediately was like, "I don't know what the fuck this is, but I am in. Count
Yes.
me in."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 you're good.
Oh, I was just saying, I just realized Over Your Dead Body is also coming out this week. The new Jason
Crazy.
Segel and, I can never remember her name
Ready or
from
Not.
Ready or Not.
Yeah. And, I always forget his name too, but from Lonely Island, he
Yeah,
directed it.
was it
Jacome
Akiva or was it Jorma?
Jorma, that's it. It's Jorma, yeah. Which you can't see, but I have a signed baby onesie from them
That's
over
right.
there.
I remember when you got that,
So,
and I
very
was
excited.
so jealous because I did not it was one of
Yes.
those many things I did not know was happening.
Yeah, and that was before I think we were, like, real good buddies because it was before the pandemic, so
Yeah, it was, like, right before the pandemic, if I remember right.
cool. But yeah, a lot of great movies. I mean, I'm excited for, I mean, the trailer just dropped, I think today or yesterday, for Acme versus Coyote
Coyote
versus
versus
Acme.
Acme, yeah, dropped today.
So pumped. I think
Yeah,
Warner Brothers is gonna be like, fuck, we really,
we
this
dropped
is
the
gonna
ball on
be,
this one.
yeah. Uh, so really excited for that. And
And even if you are not an animation person, and I mean, this is a mix of animation and live action,
yeah,
let me encourage you, whether you have kids, whether you don't, please get out and see this movie. And for one giant reason, not just to support theaters, not all of that stuff that we usually talk about, but to signal that movies are not a tax write-off. So movies are meant to be seen in a theater. When you put that time and effort in, you're talking about the actors, the voiceover people, the crafts people that make those movies come to life. Their work is not just something to throw in the garbage and collect some money on. And especially something as storied as the Looney Tunes and, Coyote and Roadrunner. I think that's why this had such an impact, is it's such a storied thing coming from the Looney Tunes. And then, with the cast of John Cena and Will Forte and, so many great people in there. Good old Eric Bauza, who voices Bugs Bunny and a ton of the Looney Tunes. Like, you've got so many great people involved with this that, I mean, if people saw the Last Day on Earth, what it was?
the day the Earth blew up or something like
The Day
that.
the Earth Blew Up, yes, the Daffy and
So
Porky movie,
good.
which was so good and so funny. I still laugh all the time about seeing Daffy Duck's butt crack. One of the funniest goddamn things. But
That movie is worth seeing it just for the beginning, and the whole thing is
yes,
great, but the beginning
yeah,
and end with their
with the
father,
adopted father.
my gosh, so good. Yeah.
Yeah, but please go and support these kind of movies, especially when they've been saved from, quite literally saved from the wood chipper. Like, this movie would have been destroyed and never seen ever. And thanks to Ketchup
Yeah.
Entertainment, it was. Like,
Good old
we were
ketchup.
it was saved, and, hopefully people will get out and see it and support animation, support good comedy, and support filmmaking, and not just letting it be just a casual thing that could be thrown away.
Yep, crazy. So definitely go see that. But yeah, guys, we went to our first, which is really crazy that this is our first. It's really awesome that it kind of panned out to be this way, but Demonetize has finally had its world premiere
Yeah.
at our first festival, Panic Fest, which has been on my dream film festival lists for a very long time. Tim can attest when, we would talk about festivals, I was like, "Of course, I'd love to get into the big ones, but I would really love to get into," and, I'd say like 3 of them, but number 1 was Panic Fest, and so to get into it was so incredible, and to give you guys kind of a little bit of a background of because there might be people listening to this who've never been to a festival or, a bigger festival, and so it actually had some prep from us, and not like we'll talk about everything like, social media wise and stuff like that, but also like, Tim, maybe you can tell them a bit about like what they asked for as far as like assets and what we had to prepare. And Tim was kind of the head lead of like the communication with it all, which I appreciate, because like we also had to round up the people, and we had to round up who was coming. And
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to kind of prepping it, they want a couple different versions usually of the film itself, and really small festivals, a lot of the time, they'll pull up whatever was submitted through like Film Freeway, download that, and call it a day. Sometimes they'll want what's called a DCP, which is going to be a little bit higher quality, which nowadays it's just basically on a thumb drive that you can.
what was nice about Panic Fest, there was just something to upload.
Mhm.
But for a little pro tip for people out there, you can how I did it is because they would have charged like $1,000 to do it. Not Panic Fest, but their partner. Um, I I would export it on Premiere, because that's where the movie was edited. Well, it was edited on,
Some Avid,
Avid.
some Premiere.
Yeah. Well, it was all edited on Avid. Premiere is like, it's just because it's easier for us to export. We just transferred it over. But you can export it on Premiere, but unfortunately, not a lot of festivals allow that for DCPs. So DaVinci, you can also do it on DaVinci, which was free, and they accepted it, and we were good. So sorry, keep going.
And well, even side note to that, people, you got space in your computer, download DaVinci because, like Waddy said, it's free. There is a paid for version of it, but it's a great tool to learn stuff with basic editing, color correction. It is a fantastic tool, and some of the stuff we even saw last year at Cinegear is there's getting to be a lot of crossover with certain camera functions and DaVinci. So yeah, take your time to learn DaVinci, guys. Something I've been slowly kind of chipping away at. But yeah, so once we did that, we had the site to upload to, and we I think uploaded 2 different versions, just quality wise, because they had one for their virtual festival as well as one for the world premiere. So we had to make sure that those things were prepped for them. We also had they gave us 2 passes, but of course there were more than 2 of us coming, so we had to let them know which 2 people the passes were going to, as well as for our screening particularly, like who was coming to the because they ended up comping us to make sure that our team was able to be at our screening. And then really from there it was just making sure that everything was in line with their standards. And then they of course sent out the press stuff for anybody that was going to be covering Panic Fest.
That was a
and
big one. So
and
thank
that's
you
one
for
thing
that too.
that a lot of filmmakers I know kind of take it for granted. Like, I'm in this festival, you should be reaching out to me. Like, you got my contact info. And a lot of the big festivals I've done, whether it be Sundance or South by, I mean, being the press guy, like I usually did, I just have to reach out to them. Granted, some of the great publicists I've worked with over the years would just send me their entire slate and be like, hey, which ones of these do you want? And a lot of those are the publicists that I still have a great working relationship with today. Like you and I were talking before we started recording, like I was supposed to have an episode of On the Mic I was recording later today that ended up getting bumped. But this particular publicist I've worked with for years, and when she kind of launched this company that she now runs, like she will send me literally, like I have 4 of her clients right now that are getting ready to come on that are all very big comedians. And
Oh, yeah.
so it is something that the press stuff, you start building up these great relationships. And very much we were like, we are going kind of balls to the wall with this. We had our EPK, the electronic press kit, ready to go. Quickly threw together an email just to introduce us and reach out and be like, hey, if you're looking to cover a film, like we'd love to chat. We gave them a festival trailer that we had as well, and just kind of went ham and reached out to every single one of them, even if they have not interviewed us yet. um all of them that did get back to us, it was kind of crazy to be like, oh, Demonetized is one of the films I'm looking forward to seeing. Like, I already have a ticket. And
So
like,
crazy.
like that was very weird to be like, oh no, I'm looking forward to your guys' movie. Yeah, let's chat. And immediately, like, you did an interview literally the morning of our premiere while at brunch, which was impressive.
Had to, dog.
but like Janine's had a few. Yumi and Janine are doing one tomorrow, and it's just kind of been crazy meeting with all these different publicists and stuff. But it's sometimes the legwork and having faith in what you are putting out there to be like, hey, you're gonna want to cover this. Like, trust us. Like, come and see this because you're essentially opening yourself up to like, all right, you can shit on this entirely if you want to.
It's
Luckily,
true.
that has not been the case, but
Not yet.
yeah, not yet.
You will get it.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that because I don't think our movie's good. It's just
art's subjective. You can't please
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, like some of the films at Panic Fest that we thought were incredible, we saw sometimes were getting bad reviews, and we were like, "Bro, what? That's a great movie."
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah. One to mention, even though we haven't really got into it. I mean, you say that, and like we got to be pals with Charlie Robb, who wrote, starred in, directed the movie Loner, which is kind of like it's a found footage of just this guy kind of on a
you're
wilderness
jumping
retreat.
ahead. Hold on, let's
I said I was jumping
reel
ahead.
it.
I,
No, no,
I,
hold on. Let's reel
I,
back
well,
because we got to.
I'm going to the reviews on this. So, but people,
That's
it was one
fine,
that
but just
we
don't tell them too
loved.
much.
I'm not
Huh?
going to tell them too much,
Okay.
but it was one that we really loved. But people get weird with those kind of films. And it was one, it is beautifully shot. Like everything is great about it. And yeah, it was one that we were very confused on how could somebody not like that? And it is just art is subjective. And without a doubt, there's going to be people that are rubbed wrong by Demonetize. Like the irreverent humor in it, absolutely.
I'm very interested to see what people think
Excuse me.
after Idaho.
Yeah. It's that's not necessarily a dig at Idaho, but it is a
No.
little bit more, of a conservative area. So
Yeah.
yeah, we will see, and it's fun watching as we get into more and more festivals all over the US, all over the
Yeah.
world.
I mean, Kansas City technically is also pretty
Yeah,
conservative as far
it's a
as I
pretty
know, but
conservative, but I do feel like a genre festival is not.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
So I mean, it
horror
was
is a lot more inclusive. So
yeah, it definitely was the right audience for us. And a few of the reviews that have come out have, and even some of the press that reached back out to me was like, that was the perfect audience to watch this with.
yeah, yeah,
And it truly was like from the moment we got on the ground, like after having all this prep, we arrive in Kansas City and it's kind of like, all right, here we go. I
yeah.
guess we're
So
doing this.
all right. So yeah, let's get to it. So day one was Thursday, I believe.
Yes.
I flew in with Janine. She's the co-writer in The Star. Sadiq, who we've talked about a million times. His
He's a
family is
mythological
from there.
creature.
He really is. And
Yes.
he's in the movie twice, technically. Actually, three times, technically. And he picked us up. We went to our Airbnb, which was like I sent them all like three or four Airbnbs that were going to be really cheap that we split, and they all picked this like haunted one, and I was like, okay, if that's what you guys want. And it was fine. It turned out okay. It was just older. But yeah, got to Airbnb, which was fun, but then we pretty much headed straight to the theater. Or well, we got some barbecue, and let me tell you. No, sorry Tim, plug your ears. That was incredible barbecue. Holy, you're in a good barbecue place when they don't bring you a knife and it's just, gonna fall off the bone. So it was so good. But yeah, we got to the
I
theater.
went to a lovely vegan spot called the Tree Hugger.
There you go.
And in perfect Kansas City fashion, I had a taco salad.
Amazing. Yeah, it was yeah, and then we first got to the theater. It's such a cool theater. So there's two sections to it. There's like, the main lobby that has like food, but also has like, your popcorn and your drinks and all that stuff. But you can get pizza and sandwiches and stuff. And then the box office was around the corner, and they have two small theaters there, and then they have smaller theater on the far side, but then there's a big one, which I think originally what the owners were telling me, who are also the organizers, that was the original theater, and then they built the other two theaters. Or sorry, the other three theaters that are there. And
Because this
so
theater, the Skrinland Armor Theater, is over 100 years old.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
so gorgeous. And yeah, we walk in and I'm and the first first day, so I'm wearing my Panic Fest shirt that I ordered beforehand, which is kind of like his, but it had Be Kind Rewind. Again, I ripped mine because I guess I wore it too much, but
Waddy went full Hulk.
yeah, I did. But yeah, they had the what every festival usually has. They had the picture thingy. What do you call that? Where it's
Step and
like
repeat.
step and repeat, but there's like the backdrop. So that was cool, and like we were very welcomed, and yeah, they gave us our passes here for if anyone's watching. We are going to upload these on YouTube eventually, but yeah, this was the badge, which was super cool. And what I loved is you could just scan the QR code and that was your ticket, and that just made things incredibly easy. Even on the app, you would just beep
Yeah,
and
their
you were all
ticketing
set to
system was
go.
really easy because it was just all registered to you. Even where I was just buying individual tickets, everything was just registered there. And yeah, I would just beep it. And
Yeah.
like I had said, I wore the wrong shirt and being Tim Drake, and I
Yep.
was wearing a DC comic shirt the first day, and they scanned it and they're like, Tim Drake, nice shirt. I was like, God damn it, why did I?
Yeah. Well, and see, so we should actually talk about that real quick, because another thing that some people don't realize is a lot of these festivals will really only offer like two badges for your stuff. Now, Idaho's going to let whatever, which is very nice. But some of these bigger festivals, they got to make money. That's what they're doing. They're trying to connect filmmakers. I'm not saying that, but like, they are giving up a normal night of normal movies to have these independent movies in there. So they need to make money in some capacity. So we were only given two of these, and we had to put it in. Everyone was kind enough to be like, hey, you're the director, writer, producer, you should get one. That was very nice of you guys. But the other one we had to put in
It was either
a
that or we shipped you
random.
for it. So
Well, I tried to say like, hey, I'll also put it up in the spinny wheel, but everyone was like, no, stop. And I was like, fine, okay. But yeah, we had to put it in one of those random spinny reels, and Janine ended up winning this round, and we'll see who gets the next one. Uh, but yeah, keep that in mind when you do this. They were really kind though to like hold tickets for the premiere itself. So anyone who worked on the movie got in that for free and had no issue as far as I was aware. But yeah, their merch was very cool. And I love, so here's the first thing I got. I love their design. I think they're like
yeah, their
any
art.
festival. Yeah, any festival has a good graphic design is immediately going to make me want to be a part of it. I don't know why. So if you're thinking about
It's
doing a
because
film
we're
festival,
suckers and we fall for it.
yeah, something to think about. But yeah, so this is a little like it's a VHS cover, but inside it was a blind box. And what was really cool is it came with a pin. It came with a temporary tattoo. There we go. Which they were also doing actual tattoos
Yeah,
for
real
really
tattoos.
cheap. And then what's really cool is they had these. Oh, and I'm going to see her. That's cool. I'm having like a birthday, and I actually invited some Panic friends, but they gave trading cards of their short films, which is so sick. And then they have little like explainers in the back of what each one is. And then what's really cool is you also got a like main, I don't know what you call it, but rare, I guess, or is what we would call it in that industry, in the trading card industry. But I got Eduardo Sanchez, who is the director of Blair Witch. So that was cool. So that is actually signed
And you're a
by
huge
him.
Blair Witch fan too, so that
Huge. I mean, especially, coming from Sundance, and that's just meant a lot. And I made a short that was very much inspired from that they actually saw at Sundance, which was cool. But yeah, so that was cool. A lot of cool merch like skateboards and
yeah, which I know they're
all this cool
specially
stuff.
making one for Sadiq because they only had a couple of the skate decks and they sold out of it. And Sadiq was like, "Oh, bummer!" And
Uh,
they're making him
oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
one. Yeah, he had told me that. I actually need to reach out because it's like they've got a great website for even some past
Yeah,
like Panic Fest merch. I actually just had ordered because the one that you had, the Be Kind video one, was one I had not ordered yet, so I just barely ordered it.
it's
And they also had
awesome.
one that said "Save Cinema," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah." I need that shirt, but I really want the theater itself, the Screenland Armored Theater. They had one that it looks like the Ramones logo,
That's cool. I didn't
And
see that one.
it's their Instagram logo as well,
Okay.
but a couple of their staff were wearing it, and I think they had it for sale there, and I just didn't I
That
forgot
would be
about it
cool.
on the
Yeah.
last day, and so I was just gonna reach out to be like, "Hey, how can I kick you guys some money and have you send me that?" Like, I
There you go.
want that shirt because yeah,
Yeah, that would
it's
be
a cool one,
cool.
and yeah, it was just a great theater, great vibe.
Beautiful.
Adam and Tim, who are like the 2 main dudes, were just fantastic.
Very nice people. And the first movie we saw was Big Baby. That was the
Yeah,
movie that opened up
Spider-One,
the
the
yeah,
direct
and it opened up the festival. Yeah, it's a I would say it's again not giving too much away. I would say it's Scream meets I don't know, a slasher movie. So
yeah,
Halloween maybe?
my comparison was The Shining meets Halloween.
Yeah, or I would even say Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Stranger Than Fiction
Maybe that's a
is a
great way to put
perfect
it.
one, yeah.
Stranger Than Fiction meets Halloween. That's all I'll really say. Definitely see it. I think there was some really great moments, and I think there was some that were like, "Oh, okay," but
Yeah,
overall, incredible actor.
Brandon Scott, the lead actor, won Best Actor, at the festival,
Yeah, he was
and, Chrissy
very
Fox was
good.
also fantastic in it, who
Yeah.
was his, co-star, like, both of them were great. I was telling my parents afterwards, it's like, it was very weird, I was like, "I don't usually get, like, starstruck or whatnot," and, like, we all picked up the poster and whatnot from it,
Mhm.
and, like, they were like, "Yeah, come out here and we'll sign it," and it's like, Spider-One, who directed it, he's, for one, Rob Zombie's little brother. He is also the lead singer of Power Man 5000,
Which was
who
crazy because I don't know if you know this, but he sang
yeah, he sang When Worlds
uh,
Collide during the
yeah,
karaoke, yeah,
like
yeah. So, but it's like, yeah, I bought that album when I was in, like, ninth grade, maybe 8th or ninth grade, and so it's like, I've been listening to that guy's music for years, and they're executive producers and lead singer of Theory of a Dead Man. And so I
jeez.
was just like, "What is happening here? Like, how is our movie, like, mentioned along them in, like, every single article?" I was
Dude.
like, it was very weird to just be like, "Yeah, I've been following this dude's career for, years and years and
Yeah.
years."
My stepdad doesn't get too excited, but when I told him about that, he was like, "What? Why?" And then he was like, "Whoa, you've hit the big time now." I was like, being mentioned in Deadline and, Fangoria and all that, whatever. Being
Being with
with
Spider-One,
Spider-One, whoa. So,
yeah,
yeah.
that was kinda crazy too, 'cause, Adam, I can't remember his last name, that plays the big baby,
Mhm.
right when we got there, they were arriving for their screening, and he came in like, the full big baby costume
Right.
and everything as they took their pictures
So fun.
at the step and repeat, and yeah,
Yeah.
but, like, it was a very fun movie. You guys kinda bailed after that because it was, like, Clyde and Destiny had just gotten into town, and they drove all the way from Ogden, Utah,
Yeah.
and that is a long ass drive. I have done that drive before from Kansas City, to Salt Lake, and it is a lot of nothing, and it
Sure.
is a long drive, and so they just got into town, they were kinda tired, you guys were tired, and I was like, "Well, I've got tickets for Your Next,"
Hell
and,
yeah.
I'd never seen
35
it, and it was a
millimeter.
35 millimeter cut, and it was fun. I had a
I
lot of
bet.
fun with that, and yeah, it's kinda fun watching some of that film grain, that's, like, true film grain and watching it. God, it was fun. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I'll
It's a
have
good
to.
one. It's another one of those kinda like, Ready or Not kinda movies, but,
Love those.
I mean, this was well before Ready or Not, but yeah,
Yeah.
like, it was a good time. I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kinda wrapped up, like, our first day,
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
ground
and
there.
we got to mingle with some really cool like, we actually shared a plane ride with I forget her name, but she did, like, the
Frankie the
Frantic
Manic Woman,
Frankie the
wasn't it?
Manic Woman who ended
Yeah,
up winning best,
best actress.
actress. She was really cool and, very hyped to be there as well, and I had, like, little pins I was giving new filmmaker friends, so I did that. I was just trying to make the oh, and I don't know if anyone saw, but I had Panic Fest nails,
Yes.
which are pretty sick. I'm showing the camera. A lot of cool people said that, and, yeah, and then we went into the next day, and I gotta say, shout out to Clyde. So, one thing we were doing is I cut a little, like, teaser trailer sorta thing for the event because we were playing Sunday at 1 PM. which, I get nervous about. I love seeing movies at that time because
Yeah,
then my whole
you and
day
I
is
are
still
all
there.
about the early movie.
Yeah, yeah. But for horror fans, I'm like, are people going to come out? But Clyde is a marketing genius, and we ran some paid ads with it, and so during the course of like while we were out and about, he would check his phone and be like, "All right, we got another 100 clicks, and we got another." Basically, what we did is we made that asset where it was like, come to Panic Fest to see our new movie, and then it would link them right to get tickets. And so he was obsessed with that, and that ended up helping us out a lot, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, we were also posting some great behind the scenes stuff, doing a lot of social pushing. And what was great is Panic Fest was very big on, I mean, obviously it benefits them too. So they were pushing some of our videos. And I don't know if you know this, Tim, but if you go on their Instagram, on their like highlights, they actually, for feature films, they actually put a bunch of our videos
Really?
as their highlight. Yeah, we really like, went all out for them. Well, and for us, of course. So
Yeah, I mean, we were excited to be going to their festival, and we were beyond honored. So yeah,
yeah.
we wanted to hide our excitement in the in the push of, hey, come see this with us because we're as giddy as like 5-year-olds on Christmas morning right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so was everyone. Everyone was so pumped. But yeah, so then
Yeah,
the next day, I do have to mention that we searched for breakfast. See, these are the kind of fun things you get to do as, you get to go out to these cities you've never been to. But we were like, where's a good breakfast place close by, right? We just searched it, and it said Sophie's, and it had like 4.9 star or 4.8 stars out of 5, and we were like, well, all right, let's go check this place out. We get there, it is literally a house, and then the basement, which looks like it's just built out concrete, and on the street is a door to go inside the restaurant. And we were like, all right, we're gonna try this. We walk in. As soon as you walk in, basically the door almost hits the bar of the little restaurant, and then they just have one tiny room to your right side that maybe fit maybe 5 or 6 tables on the right side. And we were a party of 5 or 6, so we go and sit down, and this was like 11 or so because we were exhausted after traveling yesterday, or the day before yesterday. And it was such a great experience because it was the mom was cooking, and the daughter was the waiter. And so she would come out and be like, okay, what do you guys want? And it was such like an old town, or what do you call it? A rural town or
yeah,
whatever,
just a small town
small
mom and pop
town.
kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, like everything we were like, oh, well, we would like this. They're like, we're out of that. What about this? We're out of that. And she's like, if you want something fast, you get the country fried steak. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. And then everywhere we went had sweet tea.
sweet tea. Yeah,
So that's what I got. But I got to tell you, dude, it was the best sweet tea, number one, but also the best country. And I don't eat country fried steak a ton, but I was just like, holy shit, this is so good. And the gravy was insane, like handmade, and like the green beans were incredible. And
like
I'm sorry,
wow.
but I don't know why, but it was so good. So it was just a fun little experience. And like, there was a moment where Clyde had a cup, and it had like just a little bit of like, he was like down with his sweet tea. She comes over with a different cup, not that's been used, but just, I think she just used it to like scoop up ice and go put it somewhere. There was maybe 2 little pieces of ice, and she just dumps it in Clyde's cup and walks away. We were like, what's going on? It was a good time.
Yeah, it's funny that like you mentioned like how like weird the setup was because you know how I am. Like when we go or get ready to go anywhere, even out here, I'm always researching like one, what am I going to eat?
Hmm.
And two, like where am I at? Like what are my surroundings? And so when I was looking up things that I could just like possibly get my Uber to eat and then walk over to the theater, there was this Chinese restaurant that pulled up on Google Earth, and when I like looked at it, It was literally like a tin shack with like a screwed in sign. And I was like, yeah, that's I'm going to get hepatitis if I eat there. Now, granted, it clearly was a very old photo because when one of my Ubers was going past it, it was like 10 times the size now and had like a
Shit.
regular sign. Still looked a little janky, but there was a few, even my Uber driver starts suggesting things to me when we're going past, and I'm like, I would not set foot in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely, and I've spent time in Kansas City before. It's been years and years, and I've always had a good time there.
Nice.
But yeah, it definitely was. It's been so long, and I think that we're spoiled by what we have here in Los Angeles that it was a little bit of like, oh yeah, like we have to kind of readjust our senses as to
Sure.
what the offerings are
But
elsewhere.
I gotta tell you, the number one thing I love about other places besides LA, and this is no disrespect to the server culture, because my girlfriend, she is a
Yeah,
server.
she's a server.
But when you're here in LA and you have to split a check, first off, they never ask. They'll just come, give you the ticket and walk away. It's your job. Be like, hey, can we get this split? Which is
Or we just make
fine.
Terrence pay and we all Venmo Terrence.
Well, that's eventually what we do is like, yeah, either I pay or Terrence pays or you pay, or Clyde, and then we just Venmo each other. Like we usually just do that because it's just easier. But outside of that, like in Utah, Kansas City, Idaho, like it's always like, so how are we going to do the check? And then it's like, oh, well, I'm on my own. They're on their own. They're together, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll be right back with several checks. And then they'll come back. And it's like, okay. But here it's just like, oh, you want to split up the check? God damn it. And it's like the worst thing in the world. Now, I know that people sometimes will then use that as an excuse to skip out on tips. So please
Yes.
don't do that. Tip normally.
Yeah. If I will say this, if you do break it up into individual ones, it allows me to tip you more.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
and
I don't know.
I try to tip very well, and the lunch we went to after our premiere, that girl got like a 60% tip from me because I didn't order anything big, and so like I didn't want to like leave her like a typical percentage. I was like, no, that's
Yeah.
like I can tip her more than that.
There you go. Yeah, it's funny. It's interesting. But anyways, we'll get to we're already talking a ton, but we're only on day
I'm gonna say
2.
one last thing on that altogether
Okay.
though. But fuck tip culture. Pay your people a living wage, and
Agreed.
fuck tip culture.
Agreed 100%. The
But until
horror
that's corrected, tip
stories,
your servers.
yeah, the horror stories that my partner tells me about the shitty tips she gets or the lack thereof is insane. And yeah, so then that night, we went and saw Don't Sleep Alone, which was directed by Tallo, and again, another fun friend, which was a Argentinian horror film about sleep paralysis.
Yes.
Incredible. I don't want to tell too much about it. It's not a different story that we haven't heard before, but it's done very well.
It was one I was interested in, but I'm always scared after some festivals of going to one where it says that it is in another language and them not having subtitles. That
Yeah.
has happened to me at festivals before.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
and like, so, yeah, sometimes you can be like, well, Tim, watch the moving pictures and you'll figure it out. Sure. But yeah, so I didn't. And Clyde told me the next day, he's like, no, there were subtitles. Like, God damn it. Cause
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to see that one.
Luckily, at least what I've noticed when I've submitted, there has been, things that require English subtitles. But I also just want to say we're only saying that just because we want to know what you're saying in your film.
Yeah.
We're not saying you
Yeah.
have to
I
do it.
love foreign films.
Yeah, yeah, same.
Exit 8 is one I'm trying to get to this week as well. And that's
Yeah,
all
that looks
Japanese.
another and a liminal space one.
Yeah.
So
And a video game adaptation.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry if this destroys your ears. Hopefully not, but it is getting hot in here. Let me know if that destroys your ears, Tim.
No, that was a nice little beep.
Well, right here. Now that it's blowing. Hopefully it doesn't blow right into the microphone. So yeah, I highly recommend, please go see these. And afterwards, we went and hung out at, I think it's called Rewind. I think
Yeah, rewind video. Yeah.
Rewind Video, which is, so behind the theater is this basement bar that looks like a movie store with like the basement of like your childhood dreams. Like it had it had 3 TVs set up. One had an Xbox, one had an N64, one had a PlayStation, and you could go and just like if you gave them your driver's license, they would give you controllers and a video game. And we were playing Mario Kart and GoldenEye, and yeah, just having a good old time. That was so fun. That was a mixer with the filmmakers, and so we met a ton more. Clyde, again, is kind of our networking dude. He loves that stuff. So if you notice, we all kind of try and play to our strengths.
Yeah.
And I,
You said to me the first night when it came to networking, you're like, I feel like I'm supposed to be like talking to these people, but like I don't. And I was like,
I'm
you know who you're
scared.
talking to, right? Like I like to like sidle into the back. I watch and then I just disappear into the night.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I just want to say, I need to say this not on a microphone too, but like, I am incredibly lucky for you, Tim, Clyde, and Terrence, who all have their own strengths that they believe in J-WAT enough that they're doing, and for free right now. Thankfully, demonetized at least for the production. We got to pay you guys, which was one of the most amazing things. But still, Tim handled press out of just because he believed in demonetizing J-WAT, and Clyde was doing networking because he believed in the movie and was very, believed in that. And so it was just so humbling to sit there and be like, God damn, I am so lucky to, because and I'm sorry, I'm getting really sappy, but I've always wanted that. Like even in my early 20s when J-Watt started, loved Jimmy. He will always be like one of the most talented filmmakers I ever met that I wish he would do more, but he couldn't grasp the time commitment that it would take to, and I don't blame anyone for that because it is hard and it takes up a lot of your time. And then ever since Jimmy kind of took a step back from J-Watt, I was always trying to find my people, right? To try and like believe in and trying to like not just J-Watt, but like that we would believe in each other and try and help each other make projects. And yeah, that was the biggest thing about moving to LA so that we could get to these moments. Okay, sorry, Tim. Sorry. Okay, I just had to say it. Uh okay, so yeah, that was really
Yeah, I
fun.
think you do that because you like knowing that I don't accept compliments well. And so I think you just like watching me squirm.
Yeah. We all
But
don't
thank you.
really accept compliments very well. Take compliments very well. So yeah, that was a really great night. And then let's see, Saturday was loner. Okay, yeah. So Saturday was when a lot of the other, so our two executive producers, Richard and Melissa, came into town. Lexi, who plays Tara, came into town, which was really fun. And before we went to the festival, I also highly recommend this. You don't feel like you have to just do the festival. Tim was awesome where he already had this plan, so it was nice that he invited us. But we went to the Royals game, Kansas City Royals for baseball, and that was really cool. It was really nice to just have a break from my brain to be like, this has nothing to do with film.
Yeah,
And
it's why I love baseball so much. And it's like that's what I
yeah,
told everybody. I was like, if you guys don't know, like I am a nut when it comes to baseball.
yeah,
And it's like my brother and his wife came down and joined us for that. And
so
it's because
cool.
my brother and I are both just big baseball nuts. And so we try to visit every single stadium.
Yeah,
And it
this was
was
a
just like it,
gorgeous stadium.
yeah, it's very teeny. That was the one thing I immediately was like, as somebody who spends a lot of time at Dodger Stadium, I was like,
Right.
this is a small stadium. But it's a beautiful stadium for, it's been there for since the 60s and maybe even longer because maybe the Kansas City
Yeah,
Monarchs have played there. Like
I love
there,
that
yeah. See, now,
waterfall
now you're going to
thing.
get into my nerdiness, but yeah, the waterfall back there. The game started off with a home run from the Royals, like
Insane.
two rain delays, which was definitely like right before you guys got there. I finally got to see somebody get trapped under the tarp uh, when they roll the tarp out. It was kind of funny though because the rain stopped during the first rain delay, and we're like, okay, cool, we can go sit down. And right as we get seated, they've even pulled the tarp back off the field. They're getting ready to roll it up, and then all of a sudden the rain starts coming again. And like it was a little bit heavier this time, so we kind of quickly scurried out, and you kind of watch the grounds crew just all look at each other like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
And they didn't have to roll it back out. That rain was very quick and short. But yeah, it was a very
Good
good
time.
time. Like I enjoy baseball so
And
much, and
see, my ass
I was
was
glad to
like,
have you guys there.
yeah, my ass was like, "Wow, there's a lot of people wearing Dodgers jerseys." And then I was like, "Oh, no, no, no. That's the Royals. It's just blue and in kind of
Yeah.
that cursive." I was like, "Okay." But I will say I also bought my first Dodgers shirt.
Hey,
Yeah, at the store I go to, they had it on they had it on sale, so I got it for a great price. I've been to 3 Dodgers games. I wanna go to more because 'cause they're a blast. It's just unfortunately, since the Dodgers, especially now that they've won 2 World Series in a row, and now that they've picked up, shoot, I forget his name, but the incredible baseball player from
Shohei Ohtani.
Japan. Yeah, their tickets have gone up a ton, but I've been
They're
seeing
not up
some that are
that
pretty good.
much.
Okay. I mean, unless you wanna see, like, no offense against other teams, but it all depends on the teams, but all the teams that I would love to see them go up against, even the cheapest is still close to $100. But Costco actually does some sales, and so I'm gonna look into that. They do like a have you seen that? Where they I don't know if you're a Costco guy. Are you a
I'm
Costco
not,
guy? Okay, I'm a
and
big Costco guy.
it was mainly because I always hated that I didn't like the idea of a membership to buy cheaper groceries.
Sure, sure,
Like
sure.
that just didn't make. I was just like, no, I'm not doing that.
I
Now that
get you.
that's kind of not a thing anymore, like you have to like you get a member, but like it used to be so exclusive, and now it's not. So I don't really care now. I keep meaning to like, oh yeah, I kind of want to do that, and I
I
just don't.
like it. Yeah, and, like,
But
they have a Dodger deal where you can get 2 tickets, 2 $20 meal credits for, like, I can't remember, I think it's $100 or something, and that's a great deal for 2 people. That's a great
see,
great deal.
you just gotta come with me because I see great teams, and I only pay like $50 a ticket.
Let me know, I would totally do it. So but
Yeah, I
yeah,
have my very regular seats that I sit
nice.
almost every game I go to, and it helps that the stadium is like 3 miles from my front door.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that is nice. But yeah, so anyways, that night we saw Loner, which we gotta get Charlie on the podcast sometime. He kinda became our best bud at the festival. Yeah, like Tim was explaining, I mean, he even mentions it's like the British Office meets Blair Witch.
yeah,
And
and it's a perfect description of it.
yeah, and, like, I don't wanna give too much away, I know I say that with everything, but it does a creature feature incredibly smart for the little
Yes.
budget they had.
I think he said only like a $27,000 budget.
Yeah, yeah, dude, really cool concept. So, please check out Loner. I don't know if it's only the UK, but I think it just released publicly on an app. So
On
just look
Friday.
up Loner on
On
Instagram.
Friday, it's,
On Friday it does? Well,
yeah,
this is
because I
gonna
think
come
it was
out
the 24th,
after
but
that. So, yeah,
yeah, so yeah, you can look it up now. Fine,
there you
fine.
go.
Let me just for the folks out there, let me see what it is on because I hate to just send you guys off to be like,
Yeah,
go figure it out because it's watch something.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will.
Afterwards, that night, while he's looking that up, we did the
Watch Found TV.
Watch Found TV.
Found
Hopefully
TV is what it is on.
nice. Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, definitely go see that, and then, yeah, that night was karaoke, and, I love it. I love karaoke, and I especially love it when people who aren't good at it do it, because I just think that's a part of the whole experience. I'm not good at it, and I'll do it. I sang "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen, and then it was there was a movie there called Frogman 2,
Yes.
and they brought the I don't know if it's animatronic puppet, they brought the puppet head down there, and
Yeah,
it
I saw
sang
that.
Rainbow Connection. Oh my gosh, it was so great. And then, yeah, Spider sang his song. Yeah, it's just a blast. And yeah, Lexi, again, who was Tara, that's when she came and we got to like show her the theater. And there's these, specialty drinks that she got. And it's just a good time. And then, yeah, the next day, man.
The next day was the day. And if you're
Oh,
wondering where's Tim in all of this,
yeah,
Wadi actually has to check in on me to be like, "You okay?"
yeah.
Again, it's one of those where I
Right.
like to just kinda do my thing
Do your
sometimes.
thing. Yeah.
And on the Friday, I had just planned I am staying in my hotel, I'm gonna get some writing done, some reading done,
You
and
go.
handle all the press stuff.
Yep.
And It was a cathartic day. I slept for like 12 hours the night before. I woke up in time to grab the continental breakfast from my hotel, bring it back to my
Yeah.
room, and go back to sleep.
Yeah, and I remember the other thing I wanna mention is on Friday, so we're watching Loner, and of course I turn off my phone, and all of a sudden, when I turn on my phone, I have, texts from you, I have texts from Terrence, I have phone calls from Clyde, and I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And it was just my phone was blowing up, and I was like, "I hope everyone's, okay."
I had
And
died.
well, it turns out and I couldn't get what you guys were freaking out about, I couldn't get the picture to load. And so
No.
everyone was like, "Congratulations," and I was like, "What is happening? What did we?" And then Janine, I turn and look, and she'll deny this, but she had tears, and she shows me her phone, and we look at the event thing, and it says that Demonetized was sold out.
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh," and freaked out. And again, we were in the giant theater that we talked about that we went into that first day. So to think that that whole theater was gonna be sold out was like, holy shit. And again, that comes to all of us just working our asses off, Panic Fest just being so kind of pushing us out there. And, yeah, Tim working his ass off with press, Clyde working his ass off with the assets and the socials, and Janine making videos. It was just, and then obviously making the movie in general with Tim and Clyde and Terrence. And so,
I can
man,
say
that was
before
just a
we had sent
crazy
you that
feeling.
message too, because the game had ended and you had to leave the game a little early so you could get over to the loaner screening. And we're standing out in the concourse at Kauffman Stadium, and Clyde pulls it up then just to kind of see where we're at, and he just is like, "Holy shit, we sold out." And I was like, "What?" And he shows me, and I truly don't think it registered with either of us completely right away.
Sure.
Like it was just like, "What?" Okay, we sold out, and then it wasn't until I was at dinner with my brother and his wife that they're like, "That's so cool that you guys sold out," and I was like, yeah, yeah."
Yeah, dude, it's just, I don't know. And I've secretly, not secretly, I posted it on the Demonetized Instagram. I was really hoping to sell out. I have had friends, who've have sold out their screenings and of their movies, and I'm like, man, I really want to that would be so cool to post about it. And
And
yeah,
I had
we did.
confidence we would, but it's still it's scary, especially when you see that, you're in this, 500 seat theater, and you've gotta hope now that, the little bit that we're offering them of kinda like, "Hey, these are the people in the movie. Here's a teaser trailer on the website, and please buy tickets." Like, you're asking people to spend their money to come and take time during their day to see what you made, and, it's scary to then think of, did we do enough to get people to do that?
Sure.
And so, when you see that pop up, it's so gratifying to be like, "Oh, we achieved what we were going for." Like, we got people to come and support this, and it it was unlike anything we could have expected.
And just to after we got out of the loner screening and the festival programmers came up to me and Janine and were like, "Congratulations," and we were just like, "Whoa, what?" And I don't know. And then we made a video, where we're standing outside the theater and we say, "Guys, we sold out Panic Fest." That will probably be in my memories forever. And I'm so glad we did a little, we filmed a little something for that.
And the video looks great too, because the marquee is all lit up, and it's,
Yeah.
not quite, dark out yet, it's the
Yeah.
perfect blue dusk,
Shout
and
out to,
everything is great.
Janine's cousin who filmed that. Yeah, so the next day we were on cloud 9 and I was definitely nervous, and we had a brunch beforehand, which was incredible, and I did have an interview, which was awesome. But yeah, I was just, it's so funny, the whole time I just wanna get to the theater, I just wanna get to the theater, and as soon as we got to the theater, like, not even when the movie's about to play, as soon as we walked into the theater, I was instantly like, "Okay." It almost felt like I'm that weirdo who, even though I get to my flight like an hour early, I have to go to the gate and I have to make sure it exists, and I'm like, "Okay." For some reason, that's what it felt like,
Only an hour early, Waddy, that is some amateur.
3 hours for this guy. You need to get a Steam Deck or something, because that's what I have. That makes
That was
flights
the
fly
worst.
by.
As just a sidebar, people, I didn't know what the lines were gonna be like at LAX as we flew out that morning. I planned ahead. We'd seen, with the craziness. So my flight left at 9:40.
Yeah,
My friend that drove me to the airport picked me up at 5, like a little after 5. I got dropped off at the Delta check-in at maybe 5. I had made it through security and was sitting at my terminal at 6:05.
so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so I remember walking in. I drove over with Sadiq and his buddy Shane, and Sadiq, such a badass. He borrowed his Shane's GoPro and was filming everything, which is so great. We just posted a video today about him getting reactions from people right before the screening, which is just incredible. And yeah, just everyone showing up in like their like real like their best, and then
By best, my
I
hoodie and shorts.
hell yeah, dude.
Or no, just sweatshirt and shorts.
And
That's what it
just
was.
like, yeah. And just like, yeah, I mean, seeing the line out the door was nuts. And there was
Yeah.
actually a moment for me because I was standing, around everybody in like the box office slash, check-in area where the step and repeat was. As I like went to go walk into the theater, which did have a line close to out the door, but still it's still a smallish area. I was like, man, like maybe it's not going to be sold out. But then I realized as we walked into the theater, there was already people sitting there,
Yeah.
and a lot of people already. They were letting them in like waves to make sure that it wasn't like, yeah, like chaos. And this is the first time Janine had seen it, the co-writer and star, so I was very nervous for her to see it because we've been visioning this for 4 years, 3 or 4 years at that point, and so,
I think
you
only
know
you, me, and Josh had seen it all the way through.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, and the producers had seen it, but of the very early rough version before after the director's cut. So, yeah, we talked about this in our post-production episode, so go
Well,
back
we
and
did
listen
that.
to that.
We did a special screening for the folks that believe.
Well,
Um,
that's true, you did see that,
yeah,
that's what you mean, yes,
yeah. We
definitely.
did that because the company believe that Josh works with let us use their space
Yeah,
and everything, and were very kind to us and have treated us for the most part quite well. And
very
so it was
well.
kind of it was kind of a thank you to them and also us kind of letting us make sure we could see how everything played.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, they had me introduce the film, um, which I'll probably say this every time we show it now. I told everybody it was a rowdy screening and everyone cheered and was like, "Woo!" It was great. You could feel the energy.
Yeah, you
But
could.
dude, just like looking over everybody and seeing all the seats filled, I was just like, "Holy fuck, like what is going
Yeah.
on? What are we doing?" And hey, if you've listened to this podcast at all, you guys would know how hard we've been working on this. You can literally go back and listen to before we shot this movie. You can go back and listen to us talking about Bundy Manor and like hoping that demonetize is going to happen. And you can listen to leading up to this point, and we don't gatekeep anything. You can learn exactly how we got to this moment. So please do that because I want to share with people how we're doing because I get so many people being like, I just don't know what to do. And it's like, we're telling you.
Yeah, we try to explain it, and I mean, like you mentioned, kind of with Jimmy, like it is a time commitment. Like it is something that I don't really ever think of, like the fact that of how much we do for free. And when I think I had mentioned this to you at least when I was doing stuff for the Oscars, when we were at the Best Picture spotlights, one of the people that was hosting it, longtime nominated producer, mentions how producing is one of the most thankless jobs because we don't have a union, we don't have healthcare, we don't have a set pay. A lot of the work we do is for free. And people look at it as, oh, the producers make all of this money. And it's like, yeah, we can, when the movie's being made, we can, certainly get paid well, depending on what the budget is. But yeah, it's a lot of it continues on long before we start prep, long after the film has wrapped. And it's like, I mean, yeah, we wrapped the film in November of 2024. We wrapped up post in October of 2025. You know, here we are, April 2026. And it's like, especially, you and I and Clyde, and I mean, Terrence is working on a bunch of other projects, but he's also working with me on one of the next films and like getting stuff on two of the next films and getting stuff kind of prepped. And so it's like we all have all these moving parts, but even with the monetize, like, a new festival comes, you throw it to me, I go and reach out and start getting the stuff that we need. Clyde quickly kind of develops any of the marketing stuff. Even as we've had people reaching out, like I have to hit Clyde and be like, "Hey, can we do this? So Waddy can add it here." And so it is just, constant moving pieces. And so yeah, to see it all come together, and it was kind of nice to be sitting next to Terrence and Clyde as this kind of kicked off and getting to hear that audience reaction. And the audience reaction, I mean, yeah, telling them that it was a rowdy screening, it's definitely that kind of movie. And hearing people gasp at things, hearing people audibly sad at points, like, and the laughter was just so wonderful. And there was a moment I had to take a phone call. And if you're like, how the fuck would you know you needed to take a phone call? Well, because it kept ringing on my Apple Watch as well. And so I took a peek at my phone and saw that it was a number coming from Kansas City. And I was like, I should probably find out what this is. Luckily, I did because it was my hotel trying to evict me.
Hello. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they were like, were you recently staying with us?" And I was like, "I am still staying with you." And they had, mixed up my checkout date. But as I'm waiting for them to call me back and confirm that they done fucked up, I'm listening to our crowd out
Right.
in the
You did
lobby.
tell me this. Yeah,
Like,
sorry.
so I had to go through, like, 2 sets of doors. The laughter that I could hear out in the lobby was unlike anything I expected. And it was so insane to be like, "That's our movie."
Hmm.
Like, that reaction I'm hearing is our movie. And you mentioned how, like, it kinda split off to that smaller theater next door. They had the shorts program going on in there. And we had people coming up to us after the shorts program let out to be like, "Oh, are you guys the ones with Demonetized? Like, we've heard such great things about your film." We could hear the laughter in our theater next door. And, like, that meant the world to me because for one, the fact that these filmmakers were like, "Hey, your crowd was so loud we couldn't hear our movies or anything." Instead, they were like, "What is happening? Like, I wanna see what this is." Like, that meant the world to have other filmmakers coming up after and just being like, how did you like, what where can we watch this?" And
Yeah,
yeah,
that
it
was
was
really cool, and we did get to send that to some we did send it to some people who didn't get a chance to see it that were a part of that, who
yeah.
reached out to us, so, yeah.
But the kind words from the press even after that,
Dude,
I
yeah,
can't remember, the
after the
blondie in
screening was
front.
insane.
I can't remember what her actual name is. I just know her handle is the blondie
Right.
in front. But I mean, she quoted it as the most quotable film at Panic Fest. Like that, that was just kind of crazy
So crazy.
to hear
Yeah.
people's reactions like that.
And someone like her who literally goes to every single screening, and to have her say something like that, it's funny because I'm actually this is probably naughty, but I'm actually updating the, EPK to say those quotes, so it's funny that we're talking about this right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's what I'm talking about too with when it comes to us producing afterwards is, yeah, our EPK that I mentioned earlier, our electronic press kit. We've had some people like, "Hey, can we send this around to like get more distribution?" Kind of chomping at this. And so I'd reached out to Wadi and I was like, "Hey, I think we should add a page now of the world premiere of Panic Fest. We sold this out and we're getting good reviews and some very quotable things from different members of the press." And so, like, we checked with Clyde of, "Hey, do you think we should do this?" And Clyde, of course, was like, "Yeah." And so
I
yeah,
actually
that's
think I'm
what
gonna
that's what
move
Waddy's
this
getting
up.
added in there
Yeah.
is the different things to be able to show, like, people's reactions to the film.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to put that closer because right now it's at the end. So I'm going to move that closer to the front of everything. I'll do that later. But yeah, it's afterwards, it was just insane. Like we had people come up to us and taking pictures with Janine and Lexi. And, we did the step and repeat for the festival, which was crazy to like, just take pictures with the organizers. And again, they were just so incredibly kind and so incredibly nice. And like Adam, I think, was like, yeah, dude, so this is the second time I've seen it or something like that. And he was like, I like hearing it with that crowd was an incredible experience. So even for him, having that crowd there was like very
Being one of the dudes who selected us to be in it in the first place,
yeah.
to experience that.
Yeah. So cool. So I don't know, guys. It's just and look, what's great is you don't need to get into something like Panic Fest to have that experience. This is why it's so important to put your movies out there. Tim and I both, we mentioned this where we both were putting it into festival. Like we had shorts that we were putting into festivals in our local town in Utah, and getting that live reaction is so important. For example, and this has to be the last thing, we're already an hour and 23.
Right.
But for example, there was a joke that happens in Demonetize that actually becomes a really important plot point later that we didn't expect them to laugh so hard at one joke. They laughed so hard at one joke that it kind of drowned out the next thing that's said. And so for this next, well, it can't be, unfortunately, Spark of Madness because we sent over the asset before we saw it. But future screenings, I need to go in the edit and just put a small little space in between those so that they have time to
Recover
laugh
from the first laugh
and
from there.
then and then go into it. But yeah, which again, yeah, we wouldn't have known unless we put it in front of a audience. And I got to mention Bundy Manor, we kind of had the same issue happen, not with a laugh, but well, yes, it was a laugh, but it was a laugh that wasn't supposed to happen where, and I can spoil it, Bundy Manor's been out for a while, but there's a moment where the main Mayana escapes and
I just let you have it now.
yeah, and Rob, the main villain, is there and he's like, how did you escape? And we see his wife show up who's played by Pam. And so, it's implied that she helped her escape. Well, her original line was like, it was locked. How did you get the code? And her original line was guessed, like pause. And then the rest of the sentence was, I thought it was my birthday, but that's not it. And it turns out it was hers, and talking about, we're implying that Julie is the daughter of Rob. So, but because there's that long pause there, her saying, I guessed the code is ridiculous. And so, and again, she follows it up with like what logically makes sense that she tried her birthday and all that stuff. But since we got that big laugh from that, we were like, so we cut that part out completely. So now when Rob says, how did you know the code? She says, I thought it was my birthday, but of course that wasn't it. Turns out it was hers. And so not a very comedic thing because someone just guessed up codes. Yeah. But anyways, we've been talking way too much, or not way too much, but we've been talking a lot. Thank you everyone who's like been here for the or who's listened to this episode. The one quick final thing I want to say, and Tim, I'll make sure you have stuff you want to say too. I got to give a shout out to Secret Flare Club, one of my buddies on Instagram who's from TikTok. He was kind enough he makes stickers and pins, and he was kind enough to, when he came and watched the screening of Demonetized, he actually made me a little goodie bag, which was very nice of him. So we got this one.
I like it.
Love it. We got Stephen King rules and Carpenter rules, which is awesome. And then I got a big old thing of Weird is Wonderful stickers that I'm just going to put everywhere. And then probably my favorite thing is there's this pin which you can kind of see, which is an old NES,
The old
handheld
NES
NES.
paddle. Yeah,
Yeah. And what's really cool is that it lights up, and this little thing here actually lights up red. So
that's cool.
super cool. Go follow him. Thank you for giving me those awesome things. It means a lot you would actually come and support the film. So yeah, anything else you want to add
I mean,
before we jump off?
speaking of stickers, I did love, I knew wherever you guys had been if I wasn't with you, because I could always find a Janine sticker
Yes,
somewhere in Kansas City
I love it.
that'd be like, Janine has been here.
Yep, yep. Yeah, that was fun. If you ever see her stickers, take a picture and send it to us. So, but hell yeah, dudes. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this journey. We still have quite a big journey. If you are anywhere near Pocatello, Idaho, come on out May 22nd at 5 p.m. I will be there. Tim will be there.
It's about 85% yes right now.
Okay, okay. Janine's gonna be there. So yeah, we'll be there answering some A's with some Q's.
Clyde, I believe, will be there as
Oh
well.
yeah, sorry. Clyde will be there as well. Yeah, we'll have actually a pretty good turnout because it's not too far from our home state. So we'll just have to see how things shake out with everything.
I think my parents are about as excited as can be. Not that they're coming, but that I'm actually returning to Utah for like a
Yes.
brief 24-hour period.
Yeah, well, the mountains will shake with yeah, triumph. The
Yeah, because
Wasatch Mountains.
the only way to get to Pocatello is to fly into Salt Lake and drive up.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we'll have a screening in Salt Lake proper. We're still waiting to hear back. But because I know a lot of our listeners are actually from Salt Lake. We will be in Norway in August, so keep an eye out for that. And then we can't say yet, but we just got a, let's see, actually, are we, no, we still by this time this one comes out, we're still going to be a little bit out. We did get
We
into
can't say.
another
Can we say
festival.
where? Like not the festival, but where?
I
Because
don't
that's
know.
pretty broad. That's pretty broad.
Sure. Ohio.
We'll just say Ohio.
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 We will be in Ohio. We will say where on May 1st. We'll make a big old thing about it. So thank you all so much, Tim. Where can they follow you?
So Tim Drake 42 everywhere there is, and of course on the Mike podcast as well. That's where all the fun Tim stuff is at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could follow me, Waddy McFly on Instagram. That's mostly where I'm at. J-WAT, you can follow us on TikTok. Just type in J-WAT Productions. It should bring you up there. And yeah, again, we have exciting stuff coming up. We got, Demonetize, which is on its world tour. We have 2 projects in development, active development, I guess, like we could say. And then, yeah, giving some heavy feedback on another script. And then Janine and I are almost done with ours, and Clyde and I are almost done with ours. So we got a lot of stuff coming because
Yeah.
you never stop. That's the
And if you're
that's the thing.
somebody with lots of money who would like to help us make lots of movies,
Hey, we sell out theaters, y'all. So help us make it happen. It is the quickest way to get into the film world is helping finance movies. So please let us know. But thank you all so much, and we're excited to come back next time, maybe with a guest. So take care, everybody, and peace out.
bye.